Pro Wrestling Podcast.
And I'll be hyping the bitch. I'm not ready for you.
You gotta embrace the sucky part. Wrestlers.
The new face of America wants you to do your job, Tom.
I will do my job starting right now. This is the Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. My name is Tommy Stryker. Joining me this week, as every week, is Taco.
What up?
And Joe is here. And we are here to talk about the best pro wrestling in the world and some not-so-good best pro wrestling in the world and some not-so-good wrestling. But we're going to talk about a lot of stuff between Payback, Raw, SmackDown Live, but a couple of big, not the big New Japan show. That's coming up on Wednesday this week. But we had a couple of smaller New Japan shows that had some big matches on it. So we got to talk about that. We'll talk Ring of Honor. I went to the local, the Ring of Honor was in town.
Yes.
And I went to the house show. That was a lot of fun. Masters of the Craft. So we'll try to get into that.
A lot of craft beer there.
There was no beer there, which was very unfortunate.
So
because
Luke Harper didn't show up, so
was
they're like offering craft beers.
It was a long show, and it was in a community center that was attached to a... it was in a community center attached to an elementary school, so there was no beer. They did have like pop and water and some
pre-gamed the
snacks and stuff. I think the guy sitting right next to me did, because he kept asking me questions, and boy, was there some beer on his breath.
Oh.
But I came like straight from work, so I had like there was no pre-gaming, nothing like that. It was just, well, I guess I'll grab a bottle of water and settle into 3.5 hours, almost 4 hours of Ring of Honor. So it was a long show, but it was worth it. It was good stuff. So
at least it wasn't 4 hours of WWE sober. That's a fucking talent right there.
I'm telling you, I had to rewatch some of Payback today because I was not remembering what was going on by the time we got to the end of that show. I started hitting it pretty hard when we got into the House of Horrors shit.
Well, it's like it's like you have the Andre the Giant Memorial like battle trophy. Well, there should be like for watching WWE sober, like a DDP trophy.
So yeah, we'll get into all of that. Plus Ring of Honor, like I said, we'll get into NXT. NXT was an awesome show last week. I really liked that. So we'll talk about that, and we'll get into all of it. But let's start off with the news.
Pro Wrestling News. We have quite a bit of news for you. News.
Sean X-Pac Waltman.
I was gonna say, speaking of DDP and needing some help.
Well, he was supposed to be in I forget the promotion, but it was in the UK. He was supposed to appear at a show there. He got arrested at LAX for having, among other things,
weed and meth, apparently.
Yeah, it was a bunch of meth pills, and it was like THC infused energy bars or something. Let me pull up the.
He's denying the meth.
I'm gonna pull up the Observer article so I can get all the facts straight.
So it wasn't even no fucking
one.
bud. He was just trying to bring some fucking gummy bears with him.
Pretty much, yeah. He had some Scooby snacks that he was bringing with. So. Let me see here.
At least fucking take it out in the package and put it in a new package. Fucking amateur hour up in this bitch.
Damn.
Well, right? I mean, it's international waters here. He's going overseas, so maybe he should not bring this shit with him.
Oh, yeah. You got a career to look forward to and all. It's not like you can make another fucking porno and
Okay, yeah. So TMZ actually reported that, he was stopped at customs and they found 3 cannabis chocolate bars, 2 THC liquid cigarettes.
Going to the deep end.
And 38 methamphetamine capsules. So
wow.
And he's denied. He was charged with intent to sell because
so it's probably Adderall. He had it with him,
probably something like that.
Dumb motherfucker.
So, but yeah, he's claiming it. It wasn't a thing that he didn't relapse. He openly talks about how he uses marijuana. So he doesn't. I mean,
I'm taking that off the table. I'm looking at. I don't think it's like crystal meth. I think it's Adderall.
Right. It's probably something legal, but when you bring a large amount of it and a large amount of cash,
and your X-Pac,
and you have that other shit, there was the other thing too. Like there was an existing arrest warrant that he had that stemmed from a prior DUI arrest. So there was a lot of issues going on here with Waltman and why he didn't make it to the show. He says he's going to explain it all on his podcast this week, and that everything is fine and da-da-da-da-da. So I guess we'll look for that.
He got greedy. Just stick with the fucking chocolates. You've been all right.
So next on the list of things, we got a new pay-per-view for July. What is it? July 9th. It'll be Lesnar's next title defense. So we got to wait all the way till July for Brock Lesnar's next title defense, and it will be indeed
Balls of fire.
So, what do you guys think of the new name for the July pay-per-view?
One of my favorite things out there on the internet is KFAB News. They do some of the greatest fucking... It's pretty much like The Onion, but for wrestling news.
Yep.
Well, when WWE announced the dumpster match, they're like, oh... KFAB News have nothing to write today.
Right.
They all went home. It sounds like the same situation. Like, are they working for WWE now?
The internet's yelling at you. It's pronounced kayfabe.
Sorry. Fuck y'all.
But, yeah, I thought it was funny. Like, a lot of people were outraged. Oh, that's so dumb. It's a dumb name for a pay-per-view. And it's like, dude, and I saw, so I can't remember who said this, but somebody else said it, so I can't take credit for it. But it's like, if PWG or Progress named their show Great Balls of Fire, you'd think it was the most awesome thing ever. I just think it's funny, and it's
feels very Southpaw wrestling-ish, so I'm not too mad at it.
I can't wait to hear Michael Cole say Great Balls of Fire over and over again leading up to the pay-per-view. So I think it's going to be, it's
fun. It's a good, what was the fucking WCW one they used to have outdoors?
Hog Wild or something?
Yeah, Hog Wild.
Bash at the Beach? I don't know.
Bash at the Beach was always awesome because you always knew someone was going in the pool.
There's that.
I think they wanted to drown themselves in that pool.
Then, other news, moving on. Billy Corgan is attempting to buy the rights in the name of the NWA. So, interesting.
I don't think Dre would like that.
As far as I know, he's bought in the name. He just he doesn't have the library. And he doesn't get any of the current wrestlers or anything. He's basically going to be starting fresh.
Right, but it's for the naming, the rights to the name and being able to use those titles, I guess. So I guess he's trying to get back into it.
Persistent motherfucker, man.
Wasn't his promotion in Chicago pretty successful until he went to TNA?
No, he had been out of that promotion for several years before the whole TNA thing happened. So
okay,
and I don't know how successful it was or not. I mean, obviously, it didn't make it onto any
not
kind of
big
national.
Enough, but I thought it was good enough where it was doing its own whole thing. But I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, I didn't hear a ton about it, to be honest. I heard I've heard good things, I've heard bad things. So, and he wasn't able to turn things around at TNA, but it was his influence that led to what happened with the broken gimmick from the Hardys and everything. Right. So, I mean, without Billy Corgan, that probably doesn't even happen. So there's something to be said about that. I mean, I don't know if that's a way to build a successful wrestling company going forward, but there's something to be said about that gimmick and just allowing that kind of creative freedom between the wrestlers and the promotion and not being so controlling. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. So because I don't know what the NWA even means in 2017. So.
Well, I think it was still around, I don't know, at least to me, I still think of, NWA, TNA back in the day. Like, I remember them losing the belts, the rights to the NWA belts and incorporating the TNA world title and everything. So, I was personally watching TNA at that time and kind of sticking around with them back in those early days. So
I wasn't watching back then, and you're right. I forgot that the NWA was kind of associated with him back then.
So I think for a couple of us out there, I think we're it's still fresh enough, but to a big portion of the generation too, they ain't gonna fucking know that. I doubt a lot of people out there really realize AJ Styles was a part of TNA.
Yes, sir.
So yeah,
all right.
I think it'll be fun.
So the last thing I've got here is the House of Horrors house is for sale somewhere in Missouri, in the middle of nowhere, probably.
Needs a new fridge.
Probably needs
a new walls,
bit of remodeling, yeah. But you could buy a little hangout in the middle of the woods for about $36,000 if you want to. It is for sale. All right, well, let's get into what happened on Payback, Monday Night Raw, all of that. And, let's get into it here.
Let's get into it.
Monday Night Raw!
thing is long when you just let it go.
Right?
But, yeah, Payback, I don't know where to start with Payback, because it was... How
about the first match?
It was a hell of a show. Payback was, Jericho versus Owens. They swerve the internet. They swerve all of us. Jericho wins the United States Championship.
That's awesome.
So we are all surprised. Jericho winning. Then, of course, SmackDown happens, and they have the rematch right away. Owens wins it right back. So, again, we've been saying it for a year on this podcast. Jericho, any day, will be leaving to go away with Fozzy, and it's looking more and more like that. But, Owens had the thing where he's escaped by the fingertip again. They were kind of repeating that from WrestleMania. Decent opening match.
Yeah, it was good back and forth. It's good to start off with 2 stars. Like, I don't like the idea of starting off with just like fresh feud or young stars. Give us something to chew on right off the bat, and that's just something that Jericho and Owens can give us night after night. I like the setup of him just destroying his hand. Just fun.
Yep, and then we got the AJ Styles feud to look forward to coming up next with the U.S. title. We'll get more into that on the SmackDown side of things. But yeah, second match on Payback was Austin Aries versus Neville for the Cruiserweight title. Another hell of a match.
Got some fucking time, too.
Got some time. Disappointing finish with Neville taking the DQ after trying to escape the last chancery and pulling the referee onto him and causing the DQ. So a continuation of the feud, getting on.
I thought it was a good spot for that kind of.
Yeah, it's a good way to just keep it going. So, but it's a heat seeker. It's one of those things. The fans are into the match. You're watching it. You're hoping for an outcome that you like, and then it's that shitty fucking bullshit again. So that happened. Then on Raw, we got T.J. Perkins kind of continuing his alliance with Neville. I like that aspect of them too. Like Neville saying, TJ was questioning him, like, "Hey man, what are you doing? You're cheating to win.
You're looking weak,
getting disqualified." And then Neville's like, "Okay, calm down. This is about the championship. You help me retain, you'll get your shot." So kind of continuing that. Then you get into the match between Austin Aries, T.J. Perkins. I'm loving T.J. Perkins as a heel. It just the cockiness fits right in with the dabbing and the putting his guns away thing, and all that. Yep. So I like that. And then the match from Raw, which was where did that one go? Help me out here, guys.
It's around. It was a lot of dudes.
Yeah, Aries won. That's right. He countered the detonation kick into the last chancery. So he looks. Austin Aries is looking strong in the ring. Monday Night Raw coming out. They were beating the shit out of each other. Him and T.J. Perkins. They're all bruised up and banged up from hitting each other hard and stuff. So I like that they're working hard. T.J. Perkins works on the leg in the match. T.J. attacks him after the match, locks in the knee bar, so weakening him up for the future match with Neville. So liked this match and all of that.
Oh yeah,
they're pushing it, man. Those cruiserweights, they're trying. Just trying to get that crowd behind them.
They're slowly getting there. It's
it's the taking of time to build the character. Everyone just came in completely fresh, basically.
Pretty much. And 205 Live is in a tough spot, being on after SmackDown. The crowd is not as into it or whatever.
Well, NXT was no overnight success.
Well, yeah, that's true. Although it kind of was when as soon as the WWE Network hit, it was like, oh wow, what's this? This is awesome. So there's that too. So. Third match from Payback, Cesaro and Sheamus versus the Hardys. Hardys do get the win. Swanton after a blind tag. And after the match, Cesaro and Sheamus, the big turn. I liked the interview from Monday from Raw.
Yeah. What about that kick Jeff Hardy got? Missing a tooth now.
Yep, the toothless wonder, Jeff Hardy now.
I think he should have kept rocking that tooth. They're missing tooth.
I didn't catch a glimpse of the pearly whites on Monday. Did
he got him.
Yeah, he got it fixed right. I figured he probably would.
He's got a pretty mouth.
Yeah. So, but yeah, kicking the teeth out of Jeff Hardy. I like the promo from Cesaro and Sheamus saying, "Hey, these guys just show up at WrestleMania, steal our moment," and then they beat them at the Payback pay-per-view, fair and square, pretty much, and so they're just pissed off and bitter about it. Right. So we get the big heel turn. It'll be interesting to see how it goes, because I feel like a lot of the crowd still wants to like Cesaro, whereas for Sheamus it's really easy to go back to just being hated.
Well, they got the crowd to cheer for him though, so
Well, I just like that dynamic. I mean, they've been rocking it and just having great matches with whoever they're in the ring with. So, like, you want to like that.
Well, and that's another aspect to it too. Is that I like that that no matter what, babyface or heel, they're both now on the same page. Cesaro and Sheamus. So I like that part of it. So that's good. Alexa Bliss versus Bayley for the women's title. As a fan, I kind of saw this coming, and I don't like it. But at the end of it, I mean, look at how good Alexa Bliss has been. Yes. She has just been really fucking good. And Bayley, there's something missing there. And I don't want to necessarily blame her because she got over at NXT. And I don't think it's the thing where, it's something that just only got over at NXT. I feel like they've screwed up her story somewhere along the way. But that being said, if I'm just paying attention to the story of it, I'm like, Alexa comes across better. She's better talking. Bayley just looks timid. She doesn't look like she's trying to hurt people as much when she's in the ring. So I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on Bayley and Bliss at the title change?
I feel like for like someone like on our end, it's been played out. Kind of even like looking at Sasha Banks, we saw it through NXT, through her first half of her main roster career, and it's kind of played out at this point. So, someone like Alexa Bliss is really fresh right now.
Sure.
Naomi is really fresh right now on SmackDown. And a lot of these NXT girls, they came in with a lot of, steam, and, Charlotte could barely maintain it now. So, we're going to have to put her on the back burner eventually.
We got to talk about what they're doing with Charlotte.
So, it's just Alexa Bliss. She came from, being the hot piece of meat on, one of the fucking dorks now. I can't even think of their names. Murphy and
Bayley, Murphy. Blake and Murphy. Yeah.
Buddy and Murphy. She was just there to hold their tag titles. Was their side piece.
And she was the standout. Yeah,
and she's the one that's overcome. She's the one on the main roster right now. She really took the bull by the horns. So, and the Bayley thing, it's just like, how far can you really take this? Like Charlotte said, like fucking Alexa have been saying, you're just a fan in the ring, Bayley. They're all fans in the ring, but how long can you be that gimmick for? How long can we see that for?
I really liked on the opening segment on Monday how it's Alexa and it's her coronation of the goddess or whatever. And she's got her pedestal. She's literally going to stand on a pedestal. But she's berating everybody being a heel, bumping into Nia or whatever and saying, oh, no, we're good. But I like the part where Bayley's just like, fuck this. I'm not going to stand here and listen to this bullshit anymore. Which that's a moment that probably it's a WWE problem where the baby faces have to wait and wait and wait and wait. But I like that they actually did the moment where she's like, fuck this. I'm going to knock you off your pedestal literally and beat the shit out of you.
We need the harder side of her. We need to see her having fun though. It doesn't look like she's having any sort of fun whatsoever.
Bayley, you mean?
Yeah, Bayley.
Yeah.
To kind of skip ahead a little bit right now to fucking the fashion popo. They look like they're having a fucking blast right now, you know. And look at Bayley; she's still kind of that goofy kind of esque character, and she doesn't look like she's having any fun with it.
She had to sell the loss because the loss from the pay-per-view. They tried to frame it as it being a fluky loss because. Bliss kicked out of the move and caused Bayley to go flying into the post, and then Bliss hits the DDT to get the win. So they're painting that as fluky. Then in the tag match from Monday Night Raw, it was kind of the same thing. Bliss rakes the eyes where the ref is blatantly looking at it, but at least the announcers tried to cover it up. Oh, the ref didn't see the eyes. She rakes the eyes, then hits the DDT. So they're painting Bliss's wins as fluky or whatever, or cheating.
I'm just saying, like, her whole main roster so far is just like she hasn't.
She's had a couple of moments, but we need to see. It's
not fun. That's Bayley's supposed to be fun.
Yeah,
well,
you're right.
I think the shakeup was a big help, honestly. For like Taco was saying, it was played out. I've seen Charlotte, Bayley, and Sasha grow up through NXT, and even in NXT, if you remember, it took Bayley a little bit before she even became a part of that main event picture.
Right.
I hope she settles in, and like you said, she gets aggressive. Fact. We need to see the aggressiveness from her and show a little bit more character than happy-go-lucky, I'm going to give you a hug.
I mean, Christ, Emma's still struggling with that.
Yeah.
I like Emma, though.
I do. She's great, but, look how fast Sasha and all of them just...
Yeah, that's true.
How long has Emma been on the main roster for now? And
the injury really screwed up the whole momentum thing with her.
But she was in there with Santino, and that kind of flopped after he retired, and then she dropped back down to NXT, and then the injury. Just she really didn't do anything.
I think Emma's going to have a good year. I hope.
I hope so too.
But she's definitely primed too. She can deliver in the ring. It's just a matter of what they put her with. This whole Dana Brooke thing going on right now. We'll see. And I don't like Dana Brooke as a babyface either. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Nah, go back to patting people on the head.
Right, that was the good stuff. Where's the Dana Brooke drop that I love so much? Here we go. Yeah, she needs to be this.
She looks like a hyena.
We need to get back to that Dana Brooke. So, all right, let's move on. The House of Horrors match, non-title. The title's nowhere near the picture.
No, Bray Wyatt's champion. He won.
So, all right. So they explain that it's going to start in the House of Horrors in Missouri and make its way back to the ring in California. And you can win by pinfall, submission, or forfeiture. So fine.
I don't think I've ever heard that word more in my life than I did watching fucking Payback.
Well, and
forfeiture. We get forfeiture. Forfeiture is like, fuck, I'm glad I'm not playing a drinking game to this word.
It's the greatest thrill ride of them all. The House of Horrors match. But so this could have been so good, but it was really bad. But was it so bad that it was good? Because to me, it was not.
No, it didn't quite reach that level.
I was hoping for so bad, but it was just bad. I don't know.
It was there for me. I didn't think it was that bad. I actually got more entertainment than I thought I was going to get out of it, just for how fucking sheer ridiculous it was.
Well, they play up that it's going to be the House of Horrors match, and Randy's on his way to the match in the limo, no shirt on. Like, okay, what is this? What's happening here? Then he gets out and he's like, what the hell? And there's like a light blatantly flashing in the corner of the window, and it's like, come on. This is like what a 13-year-old would do to scare his sister.
I absolutely loved the point where Bray Wyatt choked him through the wall with a plastic bag.
That was pretty good too. But I love how, okay, so it's the House of Horrors, and there was like the one quote scary thing where Bray Wyatt reaches through the wall, and then there was like the dangling babies from the ceiling. Like, it was
pretty horrifying.
It was cheesy, and I guess it was supposed to be scary, but there was nothing. It was
a house.
It was two guys pro wrestling in a shitty house.
Mm-hmm.
So with a bunch of Edison bulbs flashing and whatever. So it was what it was.
They were fighting an Xbox drug house.
The Bray Wyatt pushes the refrigerator over on top of Randy Orton. I love how it bounces and then lands on the floor, but everybody pretends, oh, Randy's still under the fridge. No, the fridge isn't actually on the floor. Randy is still under there, and the camera almost shows Randy not even being there at all a couple of times. And so it just, like, the camera work was, they got the same dork in the House of Horrors shaking the camera as obnoxiously as he can. You're making a fucking movie. If you're gonna make a movie, make a movie. Don't do like a shitty wrestling match inside a shitty house. That's all. It was a fucking. If you're gonna make a movie, you have Jeff Hardy right there. He knows how to do it. Jeff Hardy did this at his compound, the Hardy compound. Get him to do
better.
But at least it was that was so bad it was good, right?
This is true.
The Hardy shit.
We got them back to the WWE.
The Hardy shit. They named a boat Skarsgård. Okay,
the dilapidated boat.
Yeah, boat, man.
Did you see he
He's
painted
golden
it gold?
now.
It's golden. Yes. Yes.
But they got that WWE money now.
Again, guys, you just got to picture. Yes. You got to picture it though. They're fighting through the House of Horrors. They come a common room, and the Drifter's just hanging out right there.
See, now that would have been good as well.
Would have added to the entertainment. And it would have been horrifying.
Randy's under the fridge. Bray hops the limo, gets back, and heads back to the arena.
28 hours.
And so they have the Rollins-Joe match. We'll talk about that in a moment here. And then, so conveniently, right after the match was over, when it was time to do something new, Bray Wyatt shows up just in time.
This is my absolute favorite part of the match, too, was after the limo pulled up and Bray Wyatt come out, he's still
like breathing heavily from the fight. Yeah,
dude, you had a long drive.
It's from Missouri.
I know there's some water back there.
It was cheese logs, man.
So
I know that fucking limo has some cable TV too.
Bray hits the ring. Randy Orton shows up out of nowhere, proving that the refrigerator did not, in fact, land on them and that he just disappeared from the House of Horrors. They have the fight. The Bollywood Boys and Jinder show up. He hits the RKO on Bray. Jinder attacks Orton with the belt, and then Bray hits the sister Abigail, gets the win, but does not win the championship because Jinder has the championship, even though Jinder is not the champion.
I'm pretty sure Bray Wyatt has the title.
I'm glad that they
need a heavyweight title on Raw anyways.
I'm glad that they threw in...
Wait, heavyweight title? What are these?
I'm glad they threw in Jinder and the Bollywood Boys towards the end of this, just to make it that much more obnoxious. I don't know.
I didn't mind the ending too much. It was good for Jinder overall, I thought. I feel like he should have definitely hit harder with the championship belt. It looked like two fucking backyard wrestling kids hitting it. But
which is surprising coming from Jinder, who
right?
is knocking people out.
I think he was
days.
afraid to give him a concussion.
Man, you never know. Yeah, I'm sure that McMahon came up to him before the match and was like, now look, Jinder, you can't hit Randy that hard in the back of the head now.
I love those veins.
Be very careful with Randy. I love Randy. He's a great sports entertainer, that Randy. So don't hurt Randy. So maybe Jinder got a talking to before that match actually took place. So
Randy!
All right, let's talk Rollins versus Samoa Joe, because this was good.
Yeah, it was.
This was really good. Rollins gets the win with the roll-up pin out of nowhere, so kind of protecting Samoa Joe in the thing, but nice back and forth match. We got
Joe's shoulder was fucking 10 inches off the fucking ground.
Well, there was that. Joe's working on the leg, got good back and forth, good comeback from Rollins. Just good stuff all around. I like how Rollins on Monday, he's out saying, "What's next for me? What's going to happen now?" I kind of wished that Rollins did a good promo, I thought, except for that line that I played earlier. Ready to go here. Here we go. This one here.
You gotta embrace the sucky part.
That's what happens when we watch the House of Horrors match. But but I thought he had a good promo. I wish he would have acknowledged that his win over Samoa Joe wasn't, this epic win. It was almost a fluke. Not necessarily a fluke, but, he escaped with a win, I would say.
A win is a win.
So let's talk about what happened Monday. Seth Rollins comes out. What's next for me? Out comes Finn. Awesome stuff there. Mm-hmm. I liked Finn's attitude, the way they interacted with each other. Ambrose comes out and says, "Hey, let's make this about me, since Brock isn't going to be here until Great Balls of Fire." So, and I like that aspect of it too. Go ahead, let's make the Intercontinental title feel like a bigger title. So,
well, it should be. Even Miz pointed out, it's like you were on the pre-show and you didn't even have a fucking spot on this card.
Right. Miz comes out and does his pointing out of obvious things, of shoot things, his talking smack gimmick that Miz is doing now. He comes out and does all that. They make the three-way, and we had the awesome three-way main event from Monday Night Raw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good match.
So, yeah. Jesus, I'm dying over here.
No, it was a fantastic match, though. I thought it was awesome seeing Miz in there with fucking Finn Balor and Seth Rollins tearing it up.
And just the story they told where Miz is trying to get away from him early, Rollins and Balor kind of teaming up to get back at Miz, and then them getting in their digs on each other as they take out Miz throughout the match. And so, yeah, I loved all that. And then just how the thing finished up with fucking... who came out? It was
Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt, yeah. Bray comes out because he's had his eye on Finn Balor, so it's going to be the Bray Balor thing going forward.
Joe came out.
Joe comes out, hits the Uranagi on Rollins, of course, so...
continues that one.
So, right, continues that. Gives Miz the easy win over Rollins after... no, not Rollins. It was Samoa Joe. Or not Samoa Finn Balor, because Balor took the sister Abigail in the ring. So Miz got the easy win. So we get the continuation of Miz and Ambrose for the IC title. And I don't know, what do you feel? How do you feel about Finn and Bray Wyatt going forward here?
After the Randy Orton bit, I'm not feeling too good about it, honestly. I think they could work off each other well, but we've just witnessed a supernatural set of matches between these two. Are we just going to get regular matches? Is Bray going to pull the demon out of him? Nothing sounds new to me.
Yeah, and what was Bray doing in the ring with Angle earlier in the night too?
I liked that.
There were parts of it that I liked, but then again, I didn't like. What's going on here? I mean, because if for a second it's like, is Bray going to turn good here? What's happening? But obviously that's not what happened. But it was just, I guess it was just Bray informing Angle, I'm here and this is my world.
That's how I took it. It was, because it was Bray Wyatt saying, hey, new show, new beginnings. Welcome to my, you're entering my world.
Sure.
Hey, I know you're new on these grounds too, man. But I thought it was just kind of a surreal moment. Just the lighting was awesome. The effects were awesome, and I liked Bray Wyatt out there questioning him too. Like, hey man, are you with me? Are you gonna let me play in my yard?
Sure,
essentially.
Sure.
So yeah, I thought it was just a fun little interaction there.
Okay.
That's what I like about Angle as the general managers. You've got guys that are going to challenge him,
Sure.
just because he's the former champion,
and he's
former
putting
wrestler.
his foot down too, saying, "Hey, I'm still running this show." So it kind of shows where everyone's at. It wasn't like a Stephanie McMahon moment, which is like, "Oh no!"
That's right. That was like a spot on Stephanie impersonation.
Thanks.
Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman, the main event for the show. Reigns is heavily taped up, selling the injuries from the ambulance and all that.
The ambulance.
Strowman does get the win with a couple of his running power slams. Reigns makes a big comeback outside into the post, hits a spear on the outside, gets a 2 count. Strowman drops Reigns' ribs on the stairs after the thing, hits the stairs to the chest. Roman bleeds from the mouth, probably a capsule. Who cares? Tells a good story either way. So Strowman getting a good win here.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh, yeah.
That fucking taking the ambulance door off.
Yeah, after the match. I didn't see that on my network feed
It
or whatever.
was on a WWE exclusive thing, and then I kind of watched it.
I think it was on
I went
Twitter.
back and rewatched it the next day again, just the whole card, because we kind of watched it during bowling. But so I kind of went back the next day and watched it, and they did throw it on the end of the pay-per-view.
Right, okay.
But yeah, fucking good surprise win for Strowman. Well done too for both parties. I seriously, when he first came out, Strowman or Reigns was favoring his shoulder and kind of beating up Strowman a little bit. I was like, this motherfucker is going to come out and he's going to beat Braun Strowman with one fucking arm, just super pissed. But no, fucking good surprise win.
Yeah, I liked it. So, and it sounds like it's going to be probably Strowman versus Lesnar. At Great Balls of Fire.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you certainly could throw Reigns in there. We've got a couple of months to go, but
we got time.
They said they ain't finished with each other.
Oh, man, you've got a couple months of that.
I know. That's what, I'm ready to go. The listeners are going to be thoroughly upset with me by the time we get to Great Balls of Fire.
So. Going back to the...
What a week it's been. So much to talk about.
Going back to the kayfabe news, there's a list of WWE pay-per-views up to Great Balls of Fire. It's completely accurate. It gets to Great Balls of Fire, then it's like Tutti Frutti, doing the twist. It's just all these old songs. I'm just like, yes.
Good stuff. All right, what else from Monday Night Raw? I think we pretty much covered all of the good stuff. We did have a Heath Slater versus Apollo Crews match on Monday Night Raw.
Thunderbomb.
Clash of the Titus. I love Slater comes out in the entrance.
What do you think about Titus?
Ooh.
You fag.
Ask me what I think about Titus. What do you think about Titus? He's a big guy.
Thanks, Booker.
You dropped the ball on that one there, Tom.
Yeah, I totally did.
But I like Heath Slater's entrance.
Like, what?
Heath Slater's entrance is now the stage is a pool. So I like that. I don't like Cruz' finisher. I talked about that before. The spinning sit out power bomb or whatever. Mm. The way he gets into it has always been awkward. And this thing with Titus, I don't know what's going on here, but I do kind of like the awkward selfies that Titus is taking.
I'm loving
it. So. Yeah.
Something fresh for both guys. Don't have to see fucking Titus ring work. Like, the dude's just outside of the ring. He's a workhorse. He does great things for the company, so I'm happy he's getting TV time. It's good to see that kind of stuff. But I want to see good managers. I want to see that role. So, if Titus could take over something like that and help Apollo Crews out, fucking awesome. Because, it's kind of like the Sheamus Cesaro thing. They were both kind of awkward and hated each other, but look what that became. This could definitely be a big situation. It's definitely something Apollo Crews needs, too. He needs a mouthpiece because... he may look like Kevin Hart, but he ain't speaking like Kevin Hart.
That's true. Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, the personality isn't coming out of Apollo Crews. So there's something to be said. This is this year's Bob Backlund, I guess, because it was the Bob Backlund and Darren Young thing last year, and Bob Backlund was entertaining as hell, and Darren Young never did anything with it. So I guess this year it's going to be Titus O'Neil as Bob Backlund, and let's see if Apollo Crews can get anything out of it.
Absolutely right.
This is my only set of clothes.
The only other thing I wanted to, a couple other things actually I wanted to talk about.
This is my only pair of clothes.
Raw. The Golden Truth pleaded their case for a tag team title bid, and that was a good little promo.
What's going on with? Again, jumping ahead a little bit with the Breezango thing being number one contenders and everything like that. What's with them? I don't mind it at all, but just randomly giving these teams opportunities.
Hey, it's the post WrestleMania season. The superstars have been shook up. Let's bring some crap to the top and see what floats.
Ooh, all shook up. That'd be a great pay-per-view title.
That'd be pretty good. Goodness gracious. But the Golden Truth make their case. We're going to get a tag team turmoil next week on Raw. And then how about I don't remember if I mentioned it on the show yet, but Mean Dean Ambrose doing interviews during the show. Fucking throwing back to Gorilla at ringside and all that. I like the one where he's like, back to you guys at ringside, and then they go to a commercial. So it's like Dean Ambrose is trying I've been complaining about the backstage interviews forever on this show and how stupid and awkward they are. And Dean Ambrose, God bless him, he tries to get it right. He tries to end the promo in a proper way by throwing it back to ringside, and then they fuck it up anyway. They go to commercial, and then they do another one where he throws back to ringside, and they still linger on him for a minute, and then they do go back. He's like, "Thanks, Sean Mooney," and they just laugh about it. And then there's dead silence for 5 seconds while everybody, I don't know what's going on, but it's
they probably weren't fucking expecting him to do all this shit.
So I just like that they're letting Dean Ambrose do his thing.
Yeah, that was great. I very much enjoyed that. All right, let's get into
Kevin Balor the donut. And these carbs.
That's right. What is that? A vein in your abs? For God's sakes, have a carb, man. Then, did you see Finn Balor's tweet? He tweeted out that donut was too sweet. Yeah. All right, let's get into SmackDown.
Change the subject.
SmackDown Live.
Players, I'm going to make this a tag team match.
All right, let's see how quickly we can blow through SmackDown here, because there's some good stuff, but we got other good stuff to get to here, too. Shane interrupts Jinder doing a photo shoot with the title belt at the beginning of the show so he could take the title back and give it back to its rightful owner. So
I like that Shane did it.
Yeah, and I fucking Jinder, what he's stealing the title and celebrating by standing out of the top of a limo at the end of last week's SmackDown. Him doing a photo shoot with it, saying "I'm the Maharaja," which I think translates to concussion giver. By the way,
rocking a baby blue suit.
Yeah,
I want to point that out.
Fucking he had his fleek suit on, just fucking rocking it. So I'm digging the Jinder push so far.
Fuck man.
People's talking some shit about it. Let's throw some guys
again. Let him work with some guys. He was a jobber. He was basically a jobber less than a few months ago. He's built himself up. Let him work with some people.
Make no money. He's a jobber. He came. He won the match that was inherently easy for a heel to win because basically
these nuts. Anything goes!
So he won a match because his Bollywood boys, the Singh brothers, helped him out. Same thing with Sami Zayn in the match tonight. Won because of the Singh brothers. So they're still telling the story that the guy's a loser. He still can't win without help. But
it's got more pop than fucking Dolph Ziggler's getting, though.
So how do we feel about Sami Zayn losing to Jinder Mahal?
I'm kind of just over Sami Zayn right
Yeah,
now.
dude,
They haven't done anything with him, and I can only root for an underdog so many times.
Speaking of the new Jinder Mahal, you need a replacement for Jinder Mahal? Well, Sami Zayn's your guy. He can go out there and have an awesome match and make Jinder Mahal look great. Let's see what else. We had the Natty and Friends thing going on throughout the show. The Welcoming Committee is the new corporate name for Natty and Friends.
It's actually a pretty good name.
Yeah, I like it.
It's Natalia, Tamina, and Carmella. So
Carmelsworth.
Carmelsworth, yes, of course. The Team Anoka, as we called them here in the studio. Only Minnesota people will get that joke. So how did you guys feel about the whole angle? They try to recruit Becky Lynch. They had the tag match where they attacked Charlotte before the match, so Naomi's out there on her own. The heels are ganging up on Naomi. Charlotte does eventually come out just in time to make that big hot tag.
After they beat the shit out of her in the back.
Right, exactly. So she comes out after the beatdown, just in time to make the hot tag. What timing by Charlotte? Good for her. But then they have the match. After the match, the heels beat up the baby faces some more. Yes, I guess Charlotte's a baby face now, which to me is still awkward.
I'm not enjoying it.
I think it's funny that they're getting her over as a baby face by bullying tactics.
There's that, too.
But, it in a way, though, I dig it, though, because, how long is she going to be doing the same shtick for? The same thing I'm kind of bagging on Bayley for doing or Sasha Banks for doing. So,
Charlotte's really good as a heel, though. And
she
granted,
is.
And there's another factor to this, too. The crowd is already kind of half behind her anyway, just because she's really good. So
to me, she is already a good heel. We know that. Let's take her out of her comfort zone. Let's make her a good baby face. Let's get someone like Natty over as a good heel. Carmella, she's already a good, decent heel, but someone to me like Natty, she really needs to step up as a heel. I was saying this last week. Like, I want to see more out of her, and Charlotte being the number one heel is taking that away from her.
I agree with that idea, and she does some good heelish things. Natalia does, but I wish I remember what podcast it was, but on some show I was listening to, somebody made a point that Natalia is like this legendary female performer who's been in WWE forever now, and she's really likable. And so it's hard for the crowd for people to be like, "Oh, boo, you suck."
Well,
because it's Natty. She's awesome. She's like a good wrestler. We want to see Natalia succeed. And so when she goes out there, she's the bad guy. We're like, "Oh, that Natty, she's a good bad guy. She's pretty good at Natty's a good bad guy. Keep being a good bad guy, Natty."
Because she's still being cutesy though about it. Like,
right.
She still has little fucking kitty cat buns. It's.
I actually like that aspect. She's got the kitty cat.
It's
buns.
like when she's on point of being a fucking like badass heel. Like, I feel like she can generate enough heat. I personally don't think she gets enough attention from the wrestling community or the fucking crowd or anything. Her
I already said
that. she's too cutesy about how she does her heelish things,
right?
Like her stance and everything, and the Welcoming Committee. That's very fucking Stepford wives, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's not like I'm a badass, I'm from a legend family, fuck you, fuck everything you know about wrestling. Because what has she done in her career? Not to take anything away from her, but she's coming out here, doing Bret Hart's motto: "The best there is, best there was, best there ever will be."
That's what I'm getting at.
And there's nothing to back that up.
People, that's what people want to see, like a nice long title run for Natalia as a babyface, because she hasn't had any kind of title run. I don't think, has she ever been champion?
Divas champion?
Divas, maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, she's never had
title run though.
Yeah, she's never had that run on top. She's always been a supportive player, because
she's been a power bottom.
Oh my God, you've got the Bellas out there. Why would we push Natalia? So there's that. So what did you think of the Welcoming Committee? They try to recruit Becky Lynch. She says, I'll think about it. You've made some good points. Then after the heels beat up Charlotte and Naomi, out comes Becky Lynch. She shakes everybody's hand, including Ellsworth, gives Ellsworth a big hug, but then shoves him into all the other heel ladies and attempts. For a second, it looked like she was getting over there. And then, of course, the heels end up beating her up as well. But I like the way they teased it with her doing the handshakes and everything, and then her finally saying, "Nope, fuck off. I'm going to stay a good guy." So I like that whole thing.
Good way to get all the talent, like actually working with each other, fighting each other. You've got good feuds. You can set up you can switch between the ladies each week, fighting.
Great analysis.
I was literally about to say I have no idea where I'm going with that.
That is tremendous analysis.
But I like the Welcoming Committee. I think it's fun.
All right, then we had Dolph Ziggler. He says that awkward thing in the back where there's like three people who you have no idea who they are, and Dolph is what is he doing? He's shit talking,
berating
Nakamura and Shane. Shane's walking up behind him, drinking water. Got to stay hydrated. He puts Dolph in a match. And
that lady was doing some serious eye acting.
That lady was awkward as fuck. I was like, I need you to fuck off right now. Like, what are you doing out there? Like, what is this? That was just.
Do me a favor and just fuck right the fuck off.
So we had the Sin Cara all covered up.
Looking chunky. He's hanging out with Shaq.
We were trying to figure out, did they take the Sin Cara gimmick away from Hunico? But we couldn't figure out who else it could be because it still looked like Hunico's body under the Sin Cara gimmick. So it's just so that.
I don't know. He looked chunkier, man.
But I mean, Hunico's always had a bit of a belly, so.
He looked like he got some chunky cookies.
Well, maybe him and Finn Balor have been eating the 2 sweet donuts. I don't know.
Someone's got to finish them.
Somebody's got to finish. Well, Ambrose finished most of it, actually. But, so anyway, where are we going?
That was a good-looking donut.
Sin Cara dominated a huge chunk of this match versus Dolph Ziggler. So
looked good doing it,
Ziggler out there is supposed to be squashing a guy to look good to build up to Nakamura, and he gets his ass kicked by Sin Cara, but then does win with a super kick out of nowhere.
Super kick.
Yeah. So that happened. Ty Dillinger beat up Aiden English. Aiden sings, and then after the match, Aiden cries and
he
complains.
Beat him into a crying submission.
So I like that Ty wins with the modified tiebreaker. Got a slight change in the finish, maybe because AJ Styles uses the Ushigoroshi, which is the same move as the tiebreaker. So Ty switching it up a little bit. And then I love the Jericho interview in the back. He's getting interviewed by
Ronnie.
That's right, and it was Renee Young, actually. And then Aiden's walking by crying about it. Like, you know what happens to people who cry in WWE? And he puts them both on the list. So I loved how all that stuff tied together. That was just a lot of fun. And talk about guys having fun, on
Jericho.
on SmackDown. Yeah. And
killing it.
We talked about the Fashion Police segment a little bit ago.
Well, and him winning the title at Payback is just an excuse to get him to the SmackDown brand. Get him off TV for a while. He's going on tour, And then you come back and you can immediately set up a KO Chris Jericho feud right away whenever he's back.
We did have the Fashion Files, which we alluded to a couple of times. Making fun of Law and Order there or whatever, a spoof of Law and Order. The Fashion Files, the Fashion Police, Fashion Popo. They are working the case. They just finished the case against the Ascension, and now they got the new case versus the Usos.
Oh, the Usos.
I liked the what was it? The line in there about
they've got jaywalking
and Jimmy walking. So that was good. Like you said, those guys just having fun with the gimmick and doing
identity
fun stuff.
theft. That was the other one.
All of the crimes were very good. It was a very well put together.
It's just Fandango's presentation. He's trying to do the sexy voice, but it sounds like he needs water still. Just what I'm talking about, guys.
Yes. So then, main event of SmackDown, kind of talked about it already, but Owens did defeat Jericho for the U.S. title with the pop-up powerbomb. After the match, Jericho is selling, hits a couple more pop-up powerbombs on Jericho. The medics just cannot get their hands on Jericho. He keeps attacking him. At one point, the medics take the long way around the ring, and then it gave Kevin Owens the perfect opportunity to attack him again. And then those medics, I don't know,
sick 'em.
I don't know where those medics got their training, but I don't know about twisting the head as part of the let's save Jericho. This guy's really hurt. Let's move his head around a bit. Let's see.
You don't want the neck to get too stiff. You want to keep it moving.
Keep
it
moving.
You don't want taco neck.
That's a good point. All right, well, that was SmackDown. Anything else from SmackDown you guys wanted to touch on before we move on?
Nope.
I don't know what that voice was.
Change the subject.
Let's talk New Japan.
New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Now we are building up to the big show coming up in this week, actually. Well, we are on topic. We are talking big show. The big show is this week on the 3rd. So as you're listening to this on Wednesday, this show that we're going to talk about building up to has already taken place. But we'll talk about the stuff that built up to it and preview a bit of the show. So we had 2 bigger Road 2 shows with some big matches on it. I'm not going to go over all of the matches here, but we'll go over the big stuff that happened. Roppongi Vice took on Taichi and Yoshinobu Kanemaru for the IWGP Junior Tag Team titles, and Roppongi Vice regained the titles, won the match. 3 stars for that one. Taichi does his very long entrance where he's lip syncing, and there's the woman there. Heel stuff from El Desperado at ringside, who's not even on the team, but part of the Suzuki Gun faction. Just a typical heel stuff from Suzuki Gun and Roppongi Vice eking out the win, surviving, thriving through the heel bullshit, and getting the win. I should mention also for this Road to Dontaku show, this one's from the 27th, and really hot crowd for this show, so it made it for a fun show to watch. Juice Robinson got a win over Naito in a 10-man tag. It was Taguchi Japan, basically, and Los Ingobernables de Japón, a big 10-man tag. But crowd was really hot for Naito and Juice. And so I think so. But that was a really fun 10-man tag there. And then I want to talk about the big main event from this show that we watched tonight, actually. Minoru Suzuki taking on Hiroki Goto for the Never Openweight Championship.
Forearm fest.
I gave this one 3.5 stars. Very good match. Very technical early in the match. Suzuki takes the fight into the crowd. He's using chairs. El Desperado's getting into it. Just the bullshit Suzuki Gun stuff. Fucking El Desperado and doing this Suzuki shit at ringside. Suzuki dominates the striking battle. Works on the arm. Goto counters hard strikes, driving Suzuki's head and knee into the knee, getting a butterfly submission hold. Goto hits his Ushigoroshi. He can't make the cover. Desperado interferes again. Suzuki hits the ground and pound. The ref breaks the hold, and Suzuki just hangs on to the ref in the corner so El Desperado can come into the ring and fucking hit fucking Goto in the head with a chair. Yes, a chair shot to the head. Now, not as brutal as it sounds. It was a cheap, shitty plastic chair.
Oh, that chair broke.
The seat of the chair went flying. So it wasn't like, late 90s Mick Foley taking it to the head from The Rock.
It was more like Porky Pig, like that's all.
This was a very hard hitting match. The forearm strikes to the side of the head and neck, the chops, of course. There were some really hot open hand slaps in the match to the face.
What the hell's wrong with you? That's open hand slap, huh?
So a lot of that, and there were some people that were very critical of this match coming out of the Shibata situation, but there were no shoot headbutts in the match. Yes, they hit hard, but they weren't out there having an MMA fight or anything where they're literally punching each other. It was just a hard hitting, strong style match for me. What did you guys think? Maybe I'm coming at it a little too soft.
I agree. Like I just saw a hard hitting match, and I'm getting more used to it because of New Japan. And that's the thing, is like, this is just the way that some of these guys fight over there. It's their style. It's what they do. They're willing to take these shots. So it's a whole different world. I liked what was going on, and I just like the fact that I've been seeing incorporated bullshit into New Japan because it was very professional. You didn't see a lot of bullshit even just a year ago for me. Whereas now I think it was an Evil that won the Never Openweight Championship at some point using nothing but heelish tactics.
Something like that.
And it's the same bit. Like, it's fun to see them
He didn't win the title, but yeah, there was...
it was just fun to see them trying new things. So, like, that's what I liked about the match. And I really like the Suzuki guy. I mean, he's going to get a fashion ticket. That's all I got to say for that haircut. But
that hair is on fire.
I just think he has a whole different look when he's actually in the ring. He's having fun, and when he's chatting, he always seems to do like an end of the match speech, like a full speech at some point.
Bad guys.
Anytime in New Japan, when you win the main event, you get to cut a promo and the big streamers fly and all that. But yeah, anytime you win a big match in a main event,
but it's fun to see him just trying stuff different.
And yeah, he's
a mean motherfucker.
Out there smiling and looking mean and sticking his tongue out and being a dick, and you can't understand what's being said, but the announcers are serious, like, whoa, So,
lots of grunting.
Yeah, it's a lot.
He's like the fucking master shredder in New Japan. Like, fucking turtles need to stop this guy.
Yes.
I was saying, I brought it up earlier when we were watching, just watching an old match with Suzuki and
Sakuraba.
There we go. It's like those fuckers beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
So then, like, looking at this match, like, yeah, they were rough, but not that rough.
Right. And again, it's not an MMA fight where they're legit trying to knock each other out, too. And so there's that. So the other Road 2 show from the 29th, we'll talk about some of the big matches from this one. Hiromu Takahashi from Los Ingobernables defended the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title versus Ricochet. I was really looking forward to this one. This one I gave 3.5 stars. Takahashi did retain the title with his time bomb. He tries to catch Ricochet off guard, but Ricochet shines in the beginning of the match. Beautiful high spots from Ricochet. Fucking Ricochet is ridiculous and awesome. But hits a double suplex spot on the floor. Takahashi counters with his own double and hits a German suplex in the ring. Again, explaining these matches is impossible. Tons of crazy near falls, but Takahashi gets the win. Then the grudge match between Hiroshi Tanahashi and Evil. This is the rematch from the opening round of the New Japan Cup, where Evil beat Tanahashi. This might be what you're referring to. Evil beat Tanahashi with a lot of bullshit in the opening round. So this is where Tanahashi gets his revenge, hits 2 high fly flows. I gave this one 3.5 stars as well. A fun match. Evil does his same bullshit with the chair outside the ring, trying to get the advantage, but Tanahashi gets the victory in the end. Bushi's out in the match again, doing Bushi and Sonata come out, but Sonata ends up taking the green mist from Bushi in the face. So Tanahashi again surviving the bullshit and getting the glorious victory. So that's the story there. Then the fun story in the main event from this show, Tetsuya Naito of Los Ingobernables taking on Juice Robinson. Yes,
Juice.
The former C.J. Parker in the main event of a New Japan Pro Wrestling show. And they've done a good job building him up to this point. He felt like a main eventer. The crowd...
hasn't even been a year either.
The crowd accepted him as a main eventer in this spot. So
it's all in the attitude, man. He changed. He had a completely different attitude walking into New Japan.
And starting off the video promo for the match, fucking Juice is cutting really awesome promos going into this, just passionate and serious. And it's not your typical pro wrestling promo. It's more like a sit-down interview kind of a thing, too. But, it just presents him as more serious and whatever. So it was just great. Naito works the leg outside on the rail. Juice hits a big spine buster on the apron. Juice counters a top rope Rana into a power bomb, and then another power bomb for a near fall. Naito is out there alone. No Los Ingobernables interference or help this time because of all the shenanigans in the prior match. Sonata taking the mist to the face and all of that. And then Taguchi ended up actually chasing Bushi and Sonata out of the arena in the previous match. So Naito was out there on his own. Naito does get the win. He counters the Pulp Friction into his Destino to get the win in a very fun 4-star match, I thought. So,
hey, how many stars would you give the House of Horrors match?
To quote Brian Alvarez, -5 stars.
Oh, that's going to make my buddy Dave so happy tomorrow.
All right, we got the big show we talked about a little bit, Wrestling Dontaku. That is on May the 3rd, so by the time you're listening to this, it has happened. So check it out on njpwworld.com.
The future.
These are the 5 big matches, I would say, coming up on this show. Cody Rhodes going to be taking on David Finlay. I'm looking for a Cody Rhodes win here. David Finlay's kind of been... He's been on the undercard lately and looking kind of dumpy. And
he never really stuck out to me.
And Cody Rhodes, they're building him up. He is going to be in this year's G1 Climax. So I got to do it now, right?
You got to.
Climax.
So he will be in that. So they're going to build up Cody for that. The IWGP Tag Team Title 3-way match. War Machine, the new champions, defending against Hiroshi Tenzan and Satoshi Kojima and the Gorillas of Destiny in a 3-way match for the titles.
Good.
So that will be probably really good. The never open weight 6-man titles will probably change hands again.
Those never change.
To Ryusuke Taguchi, Ricochet, and Hiroshi Tanahashi defend against Los Ingobernables, Bushi, Evil, and Sonata. I like that most of the guys in Los Ingobernables have one-word names. It makes this pronunciation of the Japanese names a lot easier. Then another big grudge match, a rematch from the opening round of the New Japan Cup. Tomohiro Ishii versus Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega trying to get his win back, avenge the loss from the opening round of the New Japan Cup. Then the big main event they've been building up to, the IWGP Heavyweight title on the line, Kazuchika Okada defending against Bad Luck Fale. I expect Okada to get the win here, of course, but it should be a good match. Fale had a really good match with Shibata in the finals from the New Japan Cup, and Fale has had good matches with Okada in the past.
They've been... because he just got that big pinfall over Okada.
Right.
They're doing a really good job of making him look like a legit threat for, what he brings to the table, let's be realistic.
Right, yeah. Fale's had a pinfall win over Okada in a tag match. They've been building up his Bad Luck Fall finisher, his new grenade finisher they've been protecting. So
when this was first announced, I was like, okay, let's do this dance, but... Now it's like, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. I'm looking forward to this one.
Should be really good. So tune in to New Japan on New Japan World and keep tuned into New Japan on Access this last week was really good. They had Shibata, who there's a hole in my soul because Shibata is probably done. But they had his match versus Kyle O'Reilly from last year on Access TV. And it just made me feel so good that Kyle O'Reilly is back on the scene. And Kyle O'Reilly is filling that spot in my soul that Shibata is leaving because their styles are so similar. The hard-hitting, the kicks, the submissions, the mat wrestling. So hopefully if O'Reilly ends up going to WWE, he can keep doing that style of wrestling. Because if he just goes out there and does a regular WWE match, who the fuck is Kyle O'Reilly?
Yeah.
So...
Hey, to end on a positive note, we can at least talk about Hamna. Is that how it pronounced?
Honma. Tomoaki Honma.
That's what I wanted to bring up, too.
But yeah, he stood up. I mean, I don't know if he's walking.
I heard he's walking now.
But the fact that he's even on his feet right now.
I think he might have even been at one of the more recent shows. Maybe
which
not.
Is awesome.
I'm pretty sure he's walking now for sure.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Good news there. Haven't heard any more good news on Shibata. I know he had to have another surgery on his head related to the first surgery that he had. So not good stuff. So unfortunately, it just breaks my heart. Let's change the subject. Get into something positive. Let's talk some NXT.
Change the subject.
Taco, did you watch?
I actually did today.
That's awesome. That's fresh on your mind.
It is fresh.
Nikki Cross at the beginning of the show, she calls out Ruby in a very unique way.
I love this.
She didn't have a mic. She refused to grab a microphone. She went down to the ring announcer, who the ring announcer refused to hold the mic in a convenient way either.
I think she was scared shitless.
Which is a good point. But Nikki kneels down by the ring announcer's crotch at ringside and just speaks into the microphone and calls out Ruby.
I haven't looked into the history of Nikki Cross. I was fucking thrown for a loop when she had an accent.
Oh, really?
It sounded...
I feel like we've talked about this on the podcast.
She sounded so fucking innocent when she was saying it. That was scary.
Nice. So they do the big pull-apart brawl at the beginning of the show. Regal's going to make a match for later in the show. Then they attack during
Drink water much, jackass?
Fuck you.
Cross attacks Ruby Riot when she's making her entrance. They do another pull-apart brawl. Riot knocks out a security guard and hits a high cross body off the stage onto Nikki Cross. Crazy stuff. The refs have to carry Nikki Cross out of the arena.
Awesome.
Didn't get a match, but I love the build-up that they're doing between these two. Nikki Cross looks awesome. Ruby Riot's looking awesome.
The only thing that could be crazy is crazy.
I liked Ruby Riot's little promo there in the middle of the show saying she's not going to conform to sanity, even though she's obviously not one that conforms to anything. Mm-hmm. So I enjoyed that too. So Bobby Roode says Hideo Itami can challenge me, but he has to earn his title shot. Andrade Almas took on Drew McIntyre. McIntyre won with a boot to the face. I miss Drew McIntyre's old music, but his new music is really hot too.
It's good stuff.
So,
it is.
And I like
this one disappointed me though, match wise. I was expecting honestly the same match as last week, an Oney Lorcan hard hitting, hard fought match, but it seemed like Drew McIntyre just won it out of nowhere.
Well, we did have some hard open hand slaps.
What the hell's wrong with you? That's open hand slap.
But it was largely Almas just fucking trying to be Tranquilo, and then McIntyre's like, fuck you, dude, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. He beats the shit out of him, and Almas is like, fuck it, I'm going to get out of here. So he goes to leave. The interviewer's like, Almas, talk about your loss tonight. He's like, we're going to the club. You want to come with? So I love that aspect that the interviewer is chasing him down because he's leaving. He's got his harem of women with him that he's just going to leave with and go. He doesn't give a fuck.
No.
He's Tranquilo.
Very suited too, because those reports a while back now saying that he was very unhappy, wanted out of his NXT contract, and then switched over to doing the heel stuff right now, and he can easily carry over the I don't give a fuck mentality into your character and make some money out of it. So it's great.
I enjoyed what they did with because it was a squash match for McIntyre basically, but then it also told the story that Almost I don't give a fuck. I'm Tranquilo.
I'm getting paid. I'm having fun.
And I love fucking if you listen closely to Almas's intro, he's like Tranquilo. And then he says his La Sombra. He says his old gimmick name and all that in there. So then he does his 100 almas. So
he's 100.
Yes, he's right up there. That was tremendous.
Like a solid 98.
That's tremendous analysis. Great analysis.
Then we had the Who is Roderick Strong Part 1.
Loved this.
This was awesome.
This was a much needed thing for Roderick Strong. Who is he? Where's he come from? Comes from that awful family background. It was kind of a weird story because they talked about how dad was a rock star or wannabe rock star and gone all the time. Yep. Alcohol and drugs being an issue for him and mother. I guess at one point, did I get this right?
Mom
shot dad.
Yes.
But then it
both lived, I think.
But then it turned into like a feel-good story because it was about Roderick Strong training to be a pro wrestler with his dad in the backyard, with Jim the Anvil Neidhart being their trainer or whatever.
And it showed him in the back with his mom too, so
it sounds like it was a tumultuous family relationship, but there were good moments, where he got to actually train to wrestle with his dad, I guess. So
very cool. This is something I've bitched about since day one of the podcast. Is a lot of these guys, we need to tell their story.
Yeah,
we need to know who they are. A lot of us are fucking dorks, and sure, we might know Roderick Strong from the Ring of Honor days, but no one knows his fucking story. Like after hearing the mom shooting dad thing, I actually had to rewind it. I was like, did I just hear that way? Because he was like, I didn't think my dad would be shot, or I thought my dad would be shot by some asshole in the bar, not my own. And just stops and starts crying, So it's like, holy fuck! I had to Google it. Like, did she die? What is it? What's his background? There's nothing out there about this stuff. So it's like, good fucking job, WWE, doing something like
even
this.
If it's a work, which it probably isn't. But
right?
I would hope they not.
But give us a story, and they're giving us a story, whether it's shoot or not.
It's
so
great,
I like it.
It's especially in this NXT. It's like we need to see this stuff. Like Hideo, he needs something like this.
Yeah.
Like keep it coming. I love it.
What? No. Yes.
then I'm looking forward to part 2 this week. That's I'm very excited for that. Kona Reeves versus Aleister Black in another squash match. Great kicks, hard strikes, and I like these squash matches. We talked about going back to the last takeover, how it was a very competitive match between Aleister Black and Almas. And I was like, don't worry, we'll get back to TV, and it'll be squash matches for Aleister Black, and it'll build him up and make him look great. And that's exactly what these are doing for me. Yeah, they're dumb squash matches, but it's just building up that, what did I say? That the mystique of Aleister and making him larger than life. So I like the squash match.
His music's awesome too.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt either. So
take about 10 seconds off that intro, and we're good.
And the rising up out of the thing or whatever is nice too. So
see, I wish he had Baron Corbin's music.
That might be one of them things.
I'm serious when I wish there was they switched roles in a sense to me But
this guy to me is already way better and way more over.
100%.
So there's that.
Those fucking spin kicks he's doing, man. Oh, god damn it.
Black Mass.
I know the big thing right now, I've already been thinking about this, is Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor. I'm excited to see interactions between Bray Wyatt and Black.
Oh yeah.
I'm the face of your evil. Nah, bitch, I am. Smack!
That could be good. Then the main event of the show, Jack Gallagher versus Tyler Bate. Very good match. Great British technical exchanges early in the match. Tyler hits his bop and bang punch. 2 Gallagher headbutts in the match. And Tyler Bate gets the win with Tyler Driver 97. Good fun match. Great main event for NXT, I thought. And they keep teasing that the weekly UK show is coming soon.
Soon-ish.
Yeah, it was all right.
Didn't stand out to you as...
No, I want to see more from the other guys. If we do see them, they might lose a quick match, or they might get a quick, win a quick squash match. Oh god, why his name escaping me?
Trent Seven.
No, he was in the finals.
Wolfgang.
No, finals.
I can't think of it now. I see his face.
Yes. But the slimy looking motherfucker.
The Bruiserweight.
The Bruiserweight,
Peter Dunne.
exactly.
Pete
Peter
Dunne.
Dunne. Pete Dunne, there we go. I want to see some interaction with him or something afterwards. We need to put more emphasis on this right now. If we got these guys, we see them sitting in the front row of the match. Fucking Tyler Bate doesn't even have a fucking Titantron video or anything. It's still the UK stuff. So it's can we at least take it a little bit more serious so these guys are more established when the UK show happens, instead of you trying to do the whole cruiserweight. Let's establish everyone with a tag match, because that's what's going to fucking happen. Use NXT right now. NXT is probably at its weakest it's going to be right now, because they have to reestablish so many people. So why not establish some of these guys on NXT right now so they're set and ready to go?
All right, well, let's change the subject, get into some Ring of Honor.
Change the subject!
Oh, shit. No, go away. Why is that even on there anymore? Fucking old Impact theme. Go away. So, yeah, I went to the Ring of Honor Masters of the Craft here in Hopkins, Minnesota. I'm not going to talk about it a ton here. I'll save it for Strong Honor this week. I'll get into talk about the whole show there. But it was a very...
druggy.
It was a very fun show.
Xbox on our screen.
Yeah.
That's got all.
It's the table for 3 where they're all wearing sunglasses because Kevin Nash was either drunk or high as a kite.
I got a sidebar real quick about this table for 3 show. Did watch the Edge Christian and Kurt Angle one.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome. Watch it. I think it's only a half hour. Check it out. They tell some good stories for sure.
The AJ Styles, Shawn Michaels one. It's pretty good,
I've been meaning to watch that, but yeah, that was the first one I actually sat down
Sober
and watched.
Kevin Nash was on that one.
Sober Kurt Angle was on that one.
Nice. So, but yeah, I'll talk, we're getting back to Ring of Honor. I'll talk Ring of Honor on Strong Honor this week. Check that out on thefanspodcast.com, and I'll put a link at bestprowrestlingpodcast.com as well. But fun show, a long show, but fun. I had the general admission seats in the bleachers. Not a bad seat in the house. A packed house. The biggest card for Ring of Honor in Minnesota that they've ever had. So really good signs. So I like that they're drawing crowds here in Minnesota, a place that they don't come to a lot, only a couple of times a year.
Well, just seeing the fucking that card was stacked, man. That could have been a pay-per-view worthy card right there. So.
Well, I mean, they had the big Motor City Machine Guns versus the Briscoes that was tagged as the rubber match. Their first match between these two was 10 years ago, and then the second match was like 2 years after that. So this being the third 2-on-2 matchup. And with the Briscoes having won the first one, the Guns won in the second one, and then the Briscoes getting the win here. But they cut a nice promo after the match. Bully Ray and Silas Young was a lot of fun. They did, of course, one of these.
This match, anything goes!
It was funny because Bully Ray's cutting a promo before the match, right? And he's doing the thing where, well, if you're so tough, you know, they're going back and forth because Bully Ray is from ECW and Silas Young is the last real man. So they're going back and forth and who's tough. And Bully Ray's like, well, what if we do? I think this crowd knows what they want to see. And then I shout out, a submission match! But no, they made it no DQ. They're getting into it. And then like a couple minutes into the match, Bully Ray does something, and there's a silent moment, or I think he says, somebody might have even said like, "What did you think of that?" And I went, "For the record, I wanted a submission match." So, I got my shit in there on the Ring of Honor show. Fun main. Well, Marty Scurll defended the TV title versus Mr. Anderson in a fun match, and the main event was the Addiction and Dalton Castle teaming up versus the Young Bucks and Hangman Page.
Were the boys there?
They had boys, but not the boys.
I would have been one of the boys.
So they had a couple of local guys, I think, doing the boys.
My little Spanish egg roll hanging out.
How'd Anderson look?
Anderson looked good. You know, he's got the training school here in town. I get the Academy of Pro Wrestling, so he's a part of that. So he was kind of promoting that. There were flyers for that. He didn't say anything during the show, but he had flyers throughout the building for people to pick up, and he looked good. He got his spots in, and it was a fun night. So all around. So I'll talk more about that show on Strong Honor, but let's talk Ring of Honor TV from this week. We're building up to War of the Worlds. That's coming up pretty soon, May the 12th. So we're about 10 days away from that one, with the New Japan stars coming in and the big main event that they've been building up to, which is a little bit convoluted. We talked about it last week, but the big main event from this week's Ring of Honor TV was the 4-way number 1 contenders match between it was two teams that were thrown together in Las Vegas. The winners of that match got to face each other in the 4-way match here. Jay Lethal, as pretty much what we predicted, I think, when we talked about this last week. He did get the win with Lethal Injection over Silas Young. This was a fun match from Ring of Honor TV.
Yeah. Silas Young impressed me with this one. I haven't gotten a lot of him, but he showed just a bigger repertoire of moves.
Right, and this is kind of, I think you are at Silas Young where I was at probably like a year and a half ago. Like, who's this last real man guy? This guy with the fucking mustache and the trunks that are
whoa. I had no problem with the mustache right after.
Well, what about the trunks that are a little bit too small?
Just a little too small.
I'm not mad at that.
So I love it because that's like where he gets his heat from. And then when he big match time, he fucking pulls it out. You know, he's got that leap that he does, what is he called?
Fireman carry.
The plunge, and then the fireman's carry where he flips out of that. So he can pull it out when it's time to.
Me too.
Hangman Page stands tall after a hot exchange early in the match. Jay White slaps Jay Lethal around till he's had enough, and he comes back. Silas takes over. Page and Silas exchange a slobber at one point, which was gross. Where Silas spits on Hangman Page. Hangman Page wipes the spit off his chest, puts it in his own mouth, and spits it back at Silas. So
snowball effect.
Jay White hits 2 really big dives and gets over. Silas hits his...
Yeah, mental image right there. Think about it. Keep going.
Oh, I'm good.
Silas hits his plunge we talked about on White, but Jay Lethal does get the win. Also on the show, Marcelia and Matt Taven from the Kingdom. You know, we make fun of Baron Corbin doing the Baron Corbin. But you know who's perfect for that is Matt Taven. So
I'm not liking him.
Matt Taven. Yeah, well, he was going to call you a Melvin for saying that.
I think that's the best thing I like about him is him calling everyone Melvins. It's a word you don't hear enough of.
Yeah, but they're supposed to be heels, so you're not supposed to like him. But he's kind of got a little bit of that go away. Yeah.
Weird. Yeah. The same other fucking dude, like, I can't even get his fucking name yet.
Vinny
Marseglia, yes. Yeah. Like, at first I could not stand him, but that motherfucker grew on me.
Well, this promo is what did it for me.
You know what that means, big dog? That means I just farted in your dog food.
And he had a fun match on the pre-show from the Ring of Honor house show, too, where he faced one of the guys from this Coast to Coast team. He faced Shaheem Ali. But back to this match. So Kingdom versus Coast to Coast. Just a squash match or a feature for Marseglia and Taven to get a win. The Bucks come out, the Young Bucks, they say everything is okay with Adam Cole. It's Bullet Club for life. And then they issue an open challenge for next week's Ring of Honor TV. And who comes out? The Squad, the Spirit Squad. So I was not expecting to see the Squad, and so that's fun. The Squad get in the ring, they just get super kicked. So looking like a squash match for the Bucks next week, but this should be fun.
There was when they were calling and saying, anyone from the past or the present, or if you can from the future, and then they started bringing up Demolition, and they're like, oh, we ain't going to be seeing the Revival. I really like that a lot because they were just on Edge and Christian's podcast, actually, and another good listen to.
Yeah.
But,
gotta check that out.
They brought up the big question, like, are you guys ever going to go to the WWE? And they're like, well, that was one of the big names that they said they do want to face is the Revival. And it's just like, I didn't even fucking think of those guys going at it. That'd be a fantastic match.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
I thought that was pretty cool, hearing that on the podcast and then seeing Ring of Honor them saying that. So it's like, oh, yeah, they really do want them.
Then it was Matt Sydal taking on Flip Gordon. Sydal's got a big match coming up versus Marty Scurll at War of the Worlds for the TV title. We kind of sped through this one thinking it would be a quick squash match, but Flip Gordon looked better than everybody in the top prospect tournament.
Flip Gordon.
And Flip Gordon is about the best jobber name you could have, especially for like Ring of Honor. So how awesome is that?
I hope Southpaw drafts him.
Yeah. Sydal does get the win with the shooting star off the top rope, and then Marty Scurll comes out and attacks him after the match. Then Adam Cole in an interview says the Bullet Club is good, and we will prove it next week when he teams up with Cody Rhodes versus Christopher Daniels and Dalton Castle. So another fun match to look forward to next week. So that's about it for Ring of Honor, and that's going to be about it for this show.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So if you want to check out more about the show, social media links are there. Well, go ahead.
Did you see what they named that fucking giraffe that was finally born?
What?
Tajiri. Straight up.
Nice.
Sorry, he just popped on the screen. I thought that was the greatest fucking thing ever.
I don't even know what you're talking
That
about.
giraffe that was like trying to be fucking, that was all over the internet and fucking cameras around this fucking giraffe that wasn't being born for like 4 fucking months.
No wonder I haven't heard about it.
Oh, dude, it was the stupidest shit ever. That's cool. His name was Tajiri.
All right.
I care now.
I can't think of a better way to end this show than talking about a giraffe named Tajiri. Go to bestprowrestlingpodcast.com for older shows, links to social media, links to Strong Honor on the Fans podcast. Check out that show and all the other great shows there. Go to bestprowrestlingpodcast.com.
Go to iTunes and give us 5-star reviews.
Yes, rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes and everywhere else you can do that. And make sure you tell your friends on social media, Best Pro Wrestling Podcast, or Facebook.com. I am all over. These plugs suck this week. I should just start them over.
Just fill your prescription of the Best Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Yeah, Facebook.com/Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. Go to Twitter @BPW Podcast and follow me on Twitter @Tommy Stryker, spell Stryker with a Y. Taco, where are your dick pics?
You can find my dick pics on Snapchat, on the Instagram, or the Twitter, @HGREV Taco. It's the same shit. Just fucking Google it. You can probably find me on YouPorn.
I'm more of a Pornhub guy. You can follow me @JoeBPWP. That's @Joe Best Pro Wrestling Podcast.
That's going to do it for this week. Bye!
Peace.
I really.
Yes.
That is so profane, Dana, and rude.
I'm not finished with you.
Maybe you'll be a movie star like Otunga one day.
And here's my favorite show. I think you're a moron.